Join us for a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon off-road review. Let's go! JL is the code for this latest generation of the Jeep Wrangler, and it still features this typical 7-slot grille, now with some dark accentuations to make it even stronger, and those typical round headlamps. They come now optional with LED, or LED is standard with the Sahara and the Rubicon, those top trim levels. You can see here this massive front spoiler, and this Rubicon here is the most off-road capable one. It has a wading depth of 76 centimeters, ground clearance of 25 centimeters, and pretty massive approaching angle, 36 degrees in the front, and descending angle of 31 degrees right there in the rear for this 3-door Rubicon version. Whereas the 5-door is 4 meters 88 or 192 inches or 16 foot, here the 3-door is 4 meters 33 or 170 inches or 14 foot 2. So there is indeed a massive difference, and there's also a difference in wheelbase here. So it always looks a little bit peculiar to have the small version here, doesn't it? Especially as the Rubicon here with 17-inch wheels with those special off-road tires. This very thick mudguard, it looks so cool in this off-road version, and you can take everything out. As you know it, you can take out the doors, you can flip the front shield to the front right there, as in the very old military version, so you can make it open top, and here in this case also then with a soft top. So there's either a soft top or a hard top available for the new Wrangler. In the rear, here with the replacement tire, that's also the reason why the hatch is still opening in this very classic way, otherwise it would just be too heavy. And at the tail lamps you see that's, well, somewhat still this X shape taken from those old fuel canisters, very interesting also. Then this towing hook here in the Rubicon style. And interesting is that both, so the 3 and the 5-door, they are now about 10 centimeters longer in this new generation. That is of course good for the interior space. However, when it's big on the outside, it also has disadvantages. But especially here with the 3-door version, you still get along in the city, for example, pretty nicely. The other one is of course then longer. Well, if you're in the US, maybe not such a big of a problem, but in Europe this one here comes quite handy, especially in our cities. It's always funny that everyone can open this hood from the outside here. You just remove those ones, those special clamps, and then you can just pop it open. It's very interesting. Yeah, I mean, but who would open your engine just when standing next to the road? I'm not sure if there's any motivation. So here, very interesting, this is this new small petrol engine, 2-liter displacement, 4-cylinder, 271 horsepower, but you can still get a 3.6-liter V6, then with 290 horsepower. And on the diesel side, a small 2.2-liter 4-cylinder with 200 horsepower, or a 3-liter V6 diesel with 264 horsepower. Well, and what's also interesting, an 8-speed ZF gearbox is being used if you have the automatic then. And the whole weight of the vehicle, in comparison to the predecessor, has been reduced by about 100 kilograms. The car key is also somewhat special. It feels rugged and also looks like this, canister style. Very interesting. And then there's also keyless entry available with pressing here, for example. And let's hear the door closing sound, which is very special because of the soft top, indeed. So, and then here you can see you can take out those doors right here. Then they're still secured here, but you can take them out completely. Hard pack here at the inside of the doors, by the way. This is soft, and top part is also hard pack. Here like this clamp style, like in the front hood. It's also a very interesting idea. Then red decor elements here for the Rubicon off-road version. Steering wheel also with red contrast stitches and the inside. And then here, of course, those special Rubicon seats. They are beautifully done, again with red contrast. And there's also finally a good example where the fabric seats can play a good role, so you can keep cooler in summer. Of course, those ones are also animal friendly. And let's get inside. And we already did open the roof here to give you some more light. And this has just a very special seating position, especially as you look to the front. The hood is a little bit smaller. Well, now there's, of course, plenty of headroom, but we'll soon also show you how it looks like being closed. Here to the side, it comes very close, 1.86 or 6.1, but the seating position is very comfortable. Also in the long run, I have tested that in the Sahara version already. It's quite good. You can have the manual control, but that's actually fine. This one would be the maximum way to the back, but here I can also sit a little bit more to the front. That's still possible. Interior overview, you can see everything is pretty much upright. So that also stresses the strong off-road look overall. And the screen setup would be 3.5 first on the left side, so a small one, optional 7-inch one. So this one is the bigger one on the left side. And on the right side, you start with a 7-inch one. And this one here is the optional 8.4 inch. So this is then the biggest screen setup. And here, for example, also with the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connection, if you plug in. And you, for example, also have, a new sophisticated rear view camera. I can also show that to you. Turn it on. So, and here we go. There's the rear view camera, and also adjust a little bit. And the resolution is actually quite nice. The window levers are always here in the middle. The reason for that is because you can take out the doors, so they cannot put so many electrics in at the inside of the doors, for example. Then here, media, you can plug in your phone there, USB-C or the older USB, that's possible. And, well, maybe your smartphone won't fit in this lower area there. This is a switch lever here, just a rear-wheel drive, then the 4H Auto, then the car decides itself. You can drive the 4H Auto all-wheel drive also on the road. And 4H part-time, well, it doesn't mean that it's part-time off-road. It means that for part-time off-road use. So 4H part-time is permanent all-wheel drive, but for part-time off-road use. That's interesting. And for full off-road use, then you can always put in the 4L. This is then the off-road gear reduction for the low-range gear. So this one here with a separate gear level, also more in the classic style. And that's also the theme about this vehicle. By the way, interesting Willis MB logo here on top of the normal gear shifting lever for the automatic gearbox. For the overall scheme of this vehicle is combination of modern stuff and classic stuff. And one more detailed look here at the map. You can zoom in and out like this. So all via touch. And actually a quite good overview. I've seen infotainment systems that are a little bit clearer when you're heading into a destination, but overall it definitely does the job. And by the way, all the climate controls you can also access right here. You just put it on right there again. You can also do it here or like this, but still you can access it, with those buttons. That's good. But some functions you can only access here. For example, if you go for a seat heating or so, there's no separate button for that. So seat heating would also be active right there if it is actually equipped with the vehicle. So to get in the rear, you can manual fold that seat here forward like this, and then, well, I'm on lower ground here, so I have to climb in just a little bit, workout style. So, and then we can slide it backwards. And yeah, I can still sit here, and in the front, well, it would come close now, so I think we should put the seat all the way in the back quite soon. First of all, headroom-wise, yeah, that does come close, so that's a big difference here, of course, to this small or short wheelbase version. You remember in the 5-door version, the long wheelbase one, I could exactly sit here in the rear when the seat was all the way back, and there was no problem with headroom. Yeah, but you're a little bit more cramped in here, but it's still somewhat okay and a fun experience. And a short look here at the trunk. Look at that, I just folded up a little bit because, it takes even more time to remove all the plastic glass. And well, you have some luggage area left then right there, But the cool thing is you can flip it from here, then push everything forward like this. And then, you know, you're a little bit more flexible once again. Welcome to Thomas's driving part. Today with the Jeep Wrangler JL in the Rubicon style and as a 3-door or 2-door, depending on if you count the last one as the door. So we're today a little bit more agile as for the wheelbase. But then again, we have those, we have those off-road tires. They make, of course, the ride a little bit more wobbly, so to say. But we will need those today because we're driving off-road indeed. Now guys, it's off-road time, and that means I go to the neutral gear from the normal gearbox. Then first step would be 4H auto, so the normal off-road mode or all-wheel drive mode, you can drive on-road. Then when I put it to the right side, 4H part-time, this is then permanent all-wheel drive, but just with low off-roading. Then there would be a neutral gear for that, and then I put all the way back, and then it's the 4L, and that means we are in the, there it is, so really all the way back. And this then, it says here also auto park disabled, and now we are in the low gear mode. And we can also put in the differential locks for front and rear, or just for the rear. We leave that for a moment, we don't need it yet, but we'll see if we get stuck, then we might need it. The low range gear, we need it here because we have some muddy situations, and then it's actually better to have more power in in this low torque regions, low speed regions. The off-road gear reduction, how does it work? You cannot drive high speeds then, but in the lower speed, so it's different setup then as for transmission. So then you have more power at lower speeds. But again, you cannot go high speeds, but that's not wanted off-road anyway. So we go uphill here first, and there are two major ruts, right and left. Yeah, Thomas is already having fun here. So we have a double Thomas team here today, Thomas M and Thomas B. And when we're driving off-road, we never put in our thumbs at the steering wheel. We always put the thumbs on the steering wheel because we don't want any dislocated thumbs when the steering wheel would have a sudden reaction from the surface change. And here it is actually, I just tried to follow the ruts. Yeah, that's a park sensor, and you see it's getting really rough here. And that's also the thing where you need those off-road tires. You would damage normal tires definitely, as for the wheels, for the alloys. And also those off-road tires, they are softer, they give you a little bit more comfort here. And now we get to some obstacle driving. Those ones are some logs with some metal plates on top, and this is here actually that we can show how the wheel can go transverse. Do this very slowly. It always looks really cool from the exterior, and it's really hard because we need to stay on top actually. So it's really tough to control from the inside. Here now, when one wheel is lifting off the ground. So now we're going sideways. Wow, this is really scary. So there's a roll of, says me in the off-road gauges here, roll of 25 degrees at the moment. Yeah, so we could pick our flowers from the left part now. And finally, we go on this log barrier here, way up into the sky. This is now a pitch of 22 degrees at the moment. And you're looking straight into the sky. Can't see anything. But here it's actually important just to keep it straight. Yeah, a little bit to the left. The tires are squeaking just a little bit. It's really tight here. It's so unique on the market. It's such an icon, and it always brings you a smile on the face when you drive it. So what do you think about off-road driving here today? Really off-road capable vehicle still. And of course, with those modern off-road features, hill descent control and so on, it was actually quite easy to drive it off-road and literally goes anywhere. So now also tune into the 5-door Sahara Wrangler on-road test we done earlier. We will link that in the video description and in the comments if you haven't done that so far. And please subscribe and see you next time.